Hi children, welcome back. Today we are going to do the revision of the lesson Habitat and Adaptations. So habitat is a living place like desert, mountain region, grassland, greenlands, oceans, rivers, sea, seashore, etc. But basically it is divided into two types, terrestrial and aquatic habitats. Right? So here when you observe here, the aquatic habitat and terrestrial habitat, both are water and land habitats. So here different animals and plants they could able to survive on the land and as well as in the water, right? So here for example lotus in the pond and cactus in the desert, seaweeds in the sea, algae in the pond. So like that one animal can live in many ecosystems or many can live in single ecosystem. For example, here if you look at this picture, it is a pond ecosystem. Here many organisms they are sharing the single habitat, that is pond. So here pond skaters insects are there, and some floaters, submerged plant, partially submerged, completely submerged plants are there, and the birds like cranes, fishes, frogs, birds, all they are sharing the same ecosystem, right? Here basically in an ecosystem the components are two types, biotic components and abiotic. Biotic components they include plants, animals and microbes, whereas abiotic components they include non-living things, air, water, rocks, salt, right, sunlight, temperature, all these are non-biotic or abiotic components, right? And here when you look into the adaptations, here different areas, for example it is desert habitat and it is aquatic habitat. In case of these two, here there is no water, equally there is no water, whereas here no land, maximum it is filled with the water. So two different climatic conditions are there, and the animals which are living in these two different climatic conditions they have different adaptations in them. Okay, so here for example adaptation in the camel, we know that camel is called as ship of desert. Here camel, it has long legs, it has long legs so that its body can be kept out of reach the sand, so no temperature can be sensed here. And whereas it has a hump which stores the fat, and fat becomes water here. Okay, and it don't have any sweat glands, so it never sweats. It can able to store more water in its body. It urinate or defecate very less content of the water, very less urination takes place in the camel. So these are the adaptation can be seen in the camel. Like that if you look into the fish, here fish, it has streamlined body and it has scales on its body to get protected from the other animals, right? And as well as it has fins and tails which help them to swim easily. The gills are the special adaptation that present in the fish by which it can able to breathe, right? So streamlined body, gills, scales, tail and strong fins, they help them to move in the water easily, right? So these adaptation can be seen in fish. Okay, next come to some terrestrial adaptations. Here they include desert, mountain region, forest or grassland. So first one is the desert. In desert animals, adaptation in desert animals. If you look at here in this figure, it is a desert rat and it is a desert snake. Whenever the daytime the temperature is high, then they hide inside the burrows, right? So whenever it become night time, then temperature reduces and happily they come out of their burrows and they hunt for their food. So these are called nocturnal animals. Nocturnal animals, they roam during night time, desert rat and desert snake. Like that there is a desert plant called opensia or cactus plant. Here cactus plant they reduce their leaf. Why? Because if transpiration go on, the water scarcity occurs in the plant body, so that they don't have leaves. Even though they have the leaves, they reduce to thorns. They become thorns or spines. Okay, and they have very long and well developed roots. Why? Because the water is available in the ground level, very deeper in the desert area, so that to get the water, it has well branched and developed root system, right? And the stem can able to perform the photosynthesis, and as well as it can store much water. It can store much water. Okay, this is in case of desert plant called cactus. So these are the adaptation that can be seen in desert animal and desert plant. when you come to the mountain region, actually mountain region is very windy and what you call very cold in conditions. Snowfall occurs in the winter, so the animals and plants, they should have special kind of adaptation. If you look into the plants, then plants which are growing here, the trees of mountain habitat, they have special adaptation, that is sloped branches and sloped leaves. The sloped leaves and branches, they help the plant to slide the sand. Whenever snowfall occurs, the snow will be get slide off the plants. So that is the adaptation seen in the plants. And as well as here they have spiny leaves, right? Very smooth slender spiny leaves, so that no snow can able to fall in this. And it reduces the transpiration process. The needle like leaves, it reduces loss of water from the plant body, because they are very small in size, and stomata also present in the less amount. So this is the adaptation that can be seen in the mountain plants, right? Whereas if you come to the mountain animals, adaptation in mountain animals, look at this. Here it is elk, and mountain goat. When you look into elk is an animal whose body is covered with thick fur. Its body is covered with thick fur, and this thick fur protect, even though the goat, it also have the thick fur, and they can able to escape from the cold weather by the containing thick fur on its body. This thick fur helps them to endure the coldness, and as well as below the fur they have fat layer. And here mountain goat, it has strong goose. So these goose, they help them to climb in the slope region of the forest area to mountain area to graze the grass, right? So these are the adaptations seen in herbivorous animal of the mountain habitat. Whereas if you look into another animal, that is snow leopard. Snow leopard can able to survive in the snow because it has special adaptations. It have thick fur, and it has insulator. It has small ears to reduce the body surface. It has a round shape, right? In the paw they have more fur, thick fur, which makes the paw broader, so it won't sink in the ice. So these are the adaptations that can be seen in snow leopard, right? Next come to forest or grasslands. In forest area, the main carnivorous animal is the lion, right? So we know that lion is the king of jungle because it is very agile and fast carnivorous. It has strong body, and as well as the eyes are arranged in front of the body. So here, and another best quality is that it can able to release the nails whenever it want, or otherwise the nails will be enter into the toes back, right? So that they always remain sharp, and they can able to catch the prey easily. And it is in brown color, to so easily can escape from the its prey, or it can able to catch the prey. Next come to deer. Deer is another animal that is living in the forest. So it is very faster. The fast running is the adaptation in the deer, and it has a long ear to sense the small sounds also. And its body is brown in color. To escape from the predator, it hides in the grass. Okay, so these are the main qualities of deer. And it has strong teeth to cut the stem of the plants. It feeds on the plants. Why? Because it is herbivorous animal present in the forest area. Next, come to some aquatic condition. Oceans. In case of oceans, many animals, they have streamlined body. They have gills to breathe. Here, streamlined body helps them to survive in the water. But some animals like octopus and squids, they don't have streamlined body, but whenever they want to move, their body becomes streamlined, right? And as well as all of them, they have gills, but dolphins and whales, they have nostrils. They are called blowholes. By using blowholes, they can able to breathe. Whenever they want to breathe, they come out of the water, they breathe, and again they go to deeper layer. And once if it breathe in, it can able to hold the breath for longer period, to reach the deep sea. Okay, again it comes out whenever it want to breathe. Next, let us see the adaptation in the ponds, lakes and rivers plants. Right, here the floating plants, these are called floating plants. And floating ponds, example Fistia, water hyacinth, water lettuce, all these are called floaters. See, the roots and the total plant floats on the water. And whereas another type of plants which are called partially submerged, their roots are present in the soil, but the flowers and leaves they expose outside, they float outside. They have slender stem, very smooth hollow stem. Okay, these are called partially submerged. Example water lily and lotus. Next, here if you see, these plants are completely submerged. Example hydroline vallisneria, right? And if you look at the adaptation, they have very smooth stem, hollow stem, nothing is there inside the stem, so that in the water current it can able to move. And they have ribbon like leaves, which enables them easily float with the easily move with the water. Okay, so these are the adaptation that can be seen in aquatic plants. And finally, when you come to the animal which can able to live in water and land, here it is the animal called frog, which it is called amphibian. Why? Because it can able to survive in water and as well as on land. So whenever it is in the water, the webbed feet, look at this, the webbed feet of the frog very helpful in swimming in the water. And it has strong legs to hop also on the land. In the water it can able to swim, on the land it can able to hop. And in the water it can able to respire through the skin, whereas on the land it can able to respire through the lungs. So very beautiful adaptations they are present in the frogs. And whereas acclimatization, so if you go to the high altitude places, then your lungs are going to habituated to that particular area. Here acclimatization is the slow is a short period, within short duration we can get this, but it is not permeable, permanent. It is not permanent change, whereas adaptation is the slow and steady process, but it is completely permanent change, right? So with this we discussed the overall concept of the living organisms and their surroundings. I hope you understood.